this is my review for a Chucky TV series, episode 6. This episode was good. I prefer last week's, but this episode was still good. It was still a fun watch. But, this is how I feel. A lot of, most, not all, but some of these episodes, most of these episodes, even back in season 1, feel very short. This is probably I think the shortest episode. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like the shortest episode we've gotten. I'm not a fan of that. Like I've said it before, if there's anything I would change, it will be the run. Some of the run times for these episodes. I really wish we would get an episode that would be like 55 minutes or an hour long. I know that's a small thing, but when you're telling a story like this, I feel like you can get so much more out of just one episode, and you could tell something else in the next episode, if that makes any sense. Because again, the big thing is Andy in this episode. Yes, Lexi, Devin, they do save Andy, but Andy doesn't have much to do in this episode. That's partly because, in my opinion, the runtime. It feels very short, and the Colonel, like the Colonel, we finally see the Chucky, the Colonel, the main one. And to be quite honest, it was kind of disappointing seeing the Colonel. Because I thought we would have gotten some more creative lines with the Colonel. I thought we would have gotten some more scenes with the Colonel. And he's just dead. Like, he's just dead. He's just dead. And they kill the Colonel, and now we're kind of going in a whole different direction. And off topic for a minute, but I feel like this episode is a setup episode for the last couple of episodes and for a season 3, if hopefully we get a season 3, which I think we will. But back on topic with the Colonel, we've been building up to the Colonel. Which Chucky's the Colonel, who's the Colonel, this and that, and we get that reveal, and it just feels like they could have done more. Again, I feel like it's the runtime. They could have at least made it 55 minutes. If they didn't want to do an hour, they could just did close to an hour and just called it, that. But Andy, like I said, going to be honest, it was cool seeing Andy in this episode. I'm glad they saved him. But he barely had almost the same situation in Cold of Chucky. And that was a movie. Like they had, an hour long to do with that. Same kind of goes with Cold of Chucky. Like Andy was in Cold of Chucky, but Andy didn't have much to do. Same in this episode. Andy doesn't have much to do. The Colonel, I thought, was kind of disappointing. If there are any good kills in this, I believe, there was one kill, I believe, and it was a sad kill. Like the ending really got me. I was not expecting. Now my favorite part, and it's the saddest part, but I liked it because I was saying I was saying this to myself before this even happened. Like, if something happens to this one particular character, it's going to change a lot of things. It's going to change the tone of the show. I think, at least, it's going to change some things. It's going, whatever. And they do something very unexpected. I wasn't expecting them to, them to do something with this character like the way they did it until at least episode 3. Not episode 3, excuse me, season 3. I thought this character would last until season 3. That's the only thing I'm going to say. I'm not going to spoil it. But there's I consider her to be a major character death. But there is a major character death in this episode. I think it's major. Because she's a character, she, I'm not going to say. Could have been a main character for season 3. Thought that was kind of disappointing, but still a good and very emotional kill because we've grown to like this character, and not going to spoil who that is. But final thoughts on the episode. It was fun. I preferred last week's episode. It was fun. It was a fun episode. Seeing the Colonel, they could have did more with the Colonel, like he was a cannibal and all that. They could have did more with that, but I feel like, the runtime, and I personally feel like you could have combined it last week's episode with this episode and had a very just, just a very cinematic type of episode, but they didn't go in that direction. But yeah, really enjoyed the episode. I mean, if I have to give these episodes, a rating. I don't remember if I've been doing this or not, but if I have to give this episode a rating, I would say it's solid 8. I think that's fair. My only complaint, if I wish Andy would have had more to do. I wish the Colonel would have had more to do. Um, the character that's like helping, Chucky. I think they could have did more with that. I think there's some plot holes here and there, you know. But overall, 8 out of 8. If I have to give it a rating, it's 8 out of 8. Can't wait to see where they go with next week's episode. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below. How do you feel about this episode? Not my favorite episode, but I still thought it was fun and entertaining. Had some good moments. But yeah, let me know your thoughts on it in the comments below.